I'm Martha Hickson. I'm a high school librarian in Annandale, New Jersey, and I am sitting in my high school library at North Hunterdon High School. I am fortunate to be surrounded by about 20,000 books in this moment, but in some schools and libraries across the United States, the shelves behind me would be empty. And that's because we are experiencing an unprecedented level of attempts to ban books in the United States. We experienced that here ourselves in 2021 when a small group of community members attempted to remove 5 books from this library. All 5 books dealt with themes related to the LGBTQ community. It was a very troubling experience, I'll say. And very often I'm asked in the wake of that, what do you do? How do you survive it? And it's difficult. In our case, not only did they go after the books, but they went after me by name personally, calling me a pornographer, pedophile, and groomer of children. It was very stressful. As the situation proceeded, I started to get hate mail from parents and community members. There was vandalism here in the library by students who supported these book banners and came to the library intentionally seeking out books about gender, sexuality, and LGBTQ issues and hiding them. There was even an attempt to file criminal charges with the county prosecutor's office and the local police department. I had no support from my administrators. They were actively antagonistic and accusatory. And there did come a point in time for me when I experienced what could best be described as a complete mental, emotional, and nervous breakdown. I was crying uncontrollably. My blood pressure was through the roof. I cracked 2 teeth from stress. I developed an ulcer until finally my physician took me out of the workplace for several weeks so I could regroup. She put me on anti-anxiety medication and connected me with a therapist, all of which was very helpful. But when I returned to work, I returned with a vengeance and with a mission to save the books. And ultimately, we were successful in doing so. I have since become a very strong advocate for the right to read and to helping other librarians and educators in this situation. So when asked, what should I do if a book is challenged in my library or my school, my first piece of advice is always to report the challenge. You need to let the organizations that specialize in defending First Amendment rights know that this is happening. So report the challenge to organizations like the American Library Association, Office of Intellectual Freedom, the National Coalition Against Censorship, PEN America, Every Library. Those are all organizations that are equipped to help you. When I talk to librarians, they will often tell me that they are afraid to report. When you speak to those organizations, you can ask that your report be kept confidential. The other thing that's really important is that you get people to help you. Defending against censorship is not a one-person job. It is draining, it is stressful, and it calls for multiple voices and multiple hands on deck. So talk to friendly teachers in your building, talk to student leaders who might be interested, talk to parents who you know are friendly, and if you have a way to contact community members, let the community know, because they can help you get the word out and put pressure on the board, on the decision makers to retain the materials. And then you also have to really take care of yourself. As my example shows, the stress can really wear on you. So even before the book challenge happens, think about what can you do for stress relief. Exercise is key. I go swimming several days a week just to blow off steam. Walking is great. Who is your support network? Who can you talk to when you really have an issue? Think about that now before it happens. And probably the best piece of advice I've been giving people is the most effective speakers on this topic are the readers themselves. And I have found that kids of almost any age can talk about how important books are to them. They can write letters to the Board of Education. They can come to a Board of Education meeting and speak on what these books mean to them, and more importantly, what the absence of books means to them. And the motto I have now is let readers be leaders. That was so effective here that the kids who spoke up for our books, and they were primarily the kids who belonged to our gender and sexuality alliances. The two gender sexuality alliances in our 2 high school district were awarded the Intellectual Freedom Award by the New Jersey Library Association in spring of 2021 for their role in defending intellectual freedom here. And I can tell you that that night in Atlantic City was the proudest night of my career, to watch my students take the stage and an entire ballroom of librarians leap to their feet and cheer for them. My heart leapt out of my chest with pride. Not only pride in what they were able to accomplish in saving the books, but pride in knowing that long after I retire, that there is a whole new generation of intellectual freedom warriors waiting and ready to pick up the torch and defend the right to read.